Hi everybody, Week 5 in the NFL season. Welcome to The Spread, NESN.com's football picks video podcast. I'm NESN.com's Mike Cole, joined, as always, on my right by Andre Khatchaturian. And on my left, Ricky Doyle. I told you,
I keep it.
I gotta get my head right here.
Yeah.
I've been belly aching to you guys. It's just one of those days, but we're here to make some football picks, so that's always fun.
The best part of the day.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna get into 3 picks around the league, and we'll give you some locks, some upsets, some prop bets, some show and tell, like we do it every week.
You have a name for the 3 picks this week?
This is the triple play, right?
It was the triple play. This week it is the 3-bagger.
The 3-bag.
I told you I'm changing it. Right. So we'll get to
That's the mystique of it all.
Get to the 3-bagger in a second, but we'll start with records from last week. I sucked again. I went 5-10. Ricky, above 500.
Yeah, it's
8-7.
a step in the right direction.
500th week of the season.
And Andre 7-8. Would have been 8-7 if you didn't tail me on the Bucks.
Yeah, I listened to you with your Bucks pick, and then I ate some crow.
All right, so why don't you give us the overall?
Overall standings, Ricky's still on the top of the mountain. 29-34, inching closer to 500. I am in second, 26-37, and Mike Cole is in dead last, 23-40.
It doesn't. 23-40 sounds bad, but you compare it to the
17
other guy. You other guys, it's not as bad.
You can make that up.
It's still early. It's still early.
It's early. And then I didn't feel terrible about my picks last week. It's just whatever. One of those things.
A lot of the YouTube commenters aren't fans of our picks.
Yeah, I didn't look at the YouTube comments this week. I saw there's a lot of them. I saw we got a lot of thumbs down.
A lot of negative. I mean, we deserve it again. I mean, horrible picks.
But nobody had good weeks.
That doesn't mean we don't deserve the vitriol.
Some professional courtesy?
Oh.
Show some professional courtesy.
Yeah, I guess people can be a little more forgiving. Or maybe if they tried it themselves. Maybe if you guys tried it yourselves and saw how hard it is.
And that's the thing. It's the courage of the man in the arena, right?
Exactly,
You got to get out here and actually do it. Also, you can look at it another way, too. Those should be thumbs up, because if you came to our podcast last week and just faded all of our picks, you probably made pretty decent,
And you encourage people to do that at the top of the last podcast, I believe. So.
Well, if they're just your picks, they would have been 500 with ours. So.
Oh, you're gonna make? So you made?
No, that was very rude.
It was rude.
I'm
who's
sorry.
betting on all 15, 16 games?
I'm sorry.
That
was bad.
That was kind of mean. All right, let's get into the 3-bagger.
I'm anxious for the 3-bagger.
Starting Sunday afternoon, we got a bevy of late games this week for our 3-bagger. Starting in Denver, where the Broncos look good. Broncos look good again. I was wrong about that one. I was wrong about a lot of them. The Broncos hosting the upstart Atlanta Falcons. Denver 5.5-point favorites. Back home, Ricky, who do you like?
I like the Broncos in this game. That defense, week after week, we sit here and talk about how good it is, and they just continue to drive home that point, really.
Yeah.
Last week, I think, the Bucs are a team that are in disarray a little bit, but I like the Broncos 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games. Opposing quarterbacks, 61.3 pass rating, worst in the league. Some other numbers to throw at you from a defensive standpoint. They lead the NFL with 17 sacks, 41 quarterback hits, which is 14 more than the next best team. So all these just speak to, again, what how good that defense has been. Might be their biggest challenge yet this week in the Atlanta Falcons, because they're rolling right now. But you also got to factor in the Falcons have been carving up some pretty crappy defenses. So I think this is the week they get a reality check. And I like the Broncos at home, too. So
one thing I didn't factor last week in going against the Broncos was that pass rush. And I think that makes
it's good.
That made the world of difference last week. Broncos plus 47 this year. That's far and away the best net point total so far in the AFC. Andre, what about you?
Yeah, I have the Broncos as well. I mean, Ricky, I think this is one of your things that you like, cliches.
You already got me excited.
Hold on, what are the other 2 things you like? Trenches, battle in the trenches,
ball security,
and smash mouth.
In smash mouth. The list is growing.
And I think you have to add to the list a classic matchup of a great offense versus a great defense, because this is what this is.
I'm sweating.
It's going to be a good game, but I like the Broncos in this one as well, because You allow 4.3 yards per play on defense. What's that old saying? A good defense always beats a good offense. Isn't there an old saying like that? A cliche? Hey, you like cliches. You should know all about them.
I got a whole book of them.
So, yeah.
I just don't want to waste them all on one of the 3 bags. We still got 2 more bags to go.
Okay. So also interesting stat is the Falcons defense. They've allowed, they're so good offensively, but their defense is pretty suspect. They've allowed a 69% completion percentage to opponents this year. And, the Broncos, we all know how good their defense is, but their offense, Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch, as we saw last week, they're no slouches, and they have a lot of weapons on offense with Emmanuel Sanders and C.J. Anderson. So I think they're going to win this one, especially being at home. And that stat you mentioned, the 41 quarterback hits, that's, you can't ignore that.
Yep. Demaryius Thomas, also pretty good.
Yes.
It is worth noting, not entirely sure he's going to play quarterback this weekend. Simeon hurt.
Paxton Lynch
came in and played really well, actually.
Yeah.
Let's make it a clean sweep. I'm also taking the Broncos. A couple things here, because you guys took all the good ones. Yeah. Interesting note, Jameis Winston, when targeting Aqib Talib last week, a 0.0 passer rating, just 1 catch for 6 yards. That's pretty good. I think he had an interception as well.
He had a couple, I think.
So maybe, I would imagine the defensive game plan centers around putting him on or near Julio Jones. I think if you take away Julio Jones and easier said than done, obviously.
Yes.
But if there's any defense that can do it, it's this one. Denver back home, playing at altitude. You never know. Also, Atlanta's entering a tough little pocket of their schedule. We got Denver this week, Seattle next week. We're going to find out if they're for real. I don't know.
What do you think? Do you think they're for real?
No, not yet. And I've never been a big Matt Ryan guy. I tell you what, if he wins 1 or 2 of these games and plays well in both, I'll have to start coming around.
I gotta agree with you. I think these 2 games will tell a lot because they did the same thing last year. 6-1, and they collapsed.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, that division in general is kind of just, when we talked about it earlier, it's like arena football.
Yep.
Just kind of slinging around the bacon and see what happens.
Yeah, as I mentioned to you guys earlier today, 4 of the worst 5 defenses in the NFL are in the NFC South. Matt Ryan in October also 63% completion percentage, 47 touchdowns, and 32 picks, 87.4 passer rating, his lowest of any month. So he doesn't play well in October.
And going off that whole playing in Denver thing, too,
spooky
reports
stats
out there that Tevin Coleman might not play. His status a little unsure because of the sickle cell trait, which we've seen that in the past.
Right, yep.
That playing in that air can cause some issues. So,
wow.
I know Atlanta's passing offense so far has been pretty prolific, but the 6th best rushing offense in the league as well with Coleman and Devontae Freeman. So
really
another thing to keep on the back burner, especially when you're going up against, if you want to establish a run when you get as good a secondary as Denver has. So just another thing working in the Broncos' favor.
All right, round first, heading for second. Cincinnati at Dallas, also a late afternoon game. Bengals, as of right now, this could change. Who knows? Bengals 1-point favorites at whatever they're calling that place, AT&T Stadium in Dallas. Why don't we start with Andre, our resident Cowboys fan?
All right, putting the bias away right now. There's no bias in this whatsoever. But people always, we were talking earlier today. You said the Dallas defense. Oh, how are they going to stop AJ Green? This, that. Dallas doesn't need to have a defense. You know why? Because the defense they're never on defense. They have the best time of possession in the NFL, 35 minutes. And listen to these stats. I have them right here. Look.
Right.
The Cowboys lead the league in 10-play drives with 14. The next best, that's 5 more than the next best team, who has 9. Also, a third of their drives are longer than 5 minutes. The next best team, the Eagles, 21% of their drives are longer than 5 minutes. The Cowboys constantly have the ball, and they efficiently move it down the field. I love Ezekiel Elliott's doing a great job. Their short pass system's working. They have, and Dez might come back as well. That's not going to hurt them either. So I like the Cowboys in this one. Kind of surprised they're underdogs at home.
Yeah, we'll see. Mr. Doyle.
I am going to go with the Bengals in this one. I appreciate all those stats you were throwing at us and your overall enthusiasm for the Dallas Cowboys. But, I agree Ezekiel Elliott has been playing out of his mind a little bit over the past 3 weeks, been playing really well. But you got to consider the teams that they beat here. The Redskins, the Bears, the 49ers.
Exactly.
And you look at, particularly against the run, Redskins 26th, Bears 30th, 49ers last.
And
he's running at some garbage teams here.
Go look at their totals game by game. you take out the Cowboys game, those teams still suck. Because you're going to say, oh, well,
No, that's not what I was going to say. That's not what I was going to say. I was
The
gonna
Cowboys
say,
affect that number.
I was going to say, what's so special about the Bengals?
Listen,
Andy Dalton's been sacked second most out of any quarterback. Randy Gregory's coming back this week. I see the Cowboys finally getting a pass rush on him.
a weird little stat too is Andy Dalton's been really good against the NFC for whatever reason.
I saw
read
that too,
earlier.
yeah.
I don't know where I read that, but
I feel like we should give credit to that because
I also don't have the exact number.
CBS
but
Sports.
Yeah, I forget what the record was, but he's been pretty good against the NFC.
There's a lot of
One
teams
those
in the
weird little
NFC
caveats.
that don't possess the ball like the Cowboys do.
You know I love my cliches and my certain phrase I like to go to. I think the way you beat the Cincinnati Bengals is to get after the quarterback. They've given up a lot of sacks this year, and I'm not entirely sure the Dallas Cowboys can do that.
Randy
Gregory's coming back this week.
True, but to this point, other than that,
Hey,
the pass rush has been pretty non-existent.
I've been saying this every week about the Bengals. Reggie Nelson's not in that secondary anymore either. So I expect Dak Prescott to sling that ball across the field and have a field day. And he hasn't thrown a pick yet.
Okay.
All right, so I had the same. Ricky, I was going to mention the same thing. Those teams are in the bottom 10 in rushing yards against. You talk about possession time. Well, their 3 wins have come against Chicago, Washington, and San Francisco. Not exactly world burners, both on defense or offense, which is also affecting that time of possession game. What?
I'm listening to you.
Okay,
I'm
you're shaking your head like a sassy frass.
I already made my points.
You mentioned NFC. I looked it up last season against the NFC, 9-2 touchdown interception ratio for Andy Dalton. He beat Seattle last year, lost to Arizona by 3 points at Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, the offense isn't as good this year. They lose Hugh Jackson. They lose a couple of weapons, including Marvin Jones, who's having a nice year in Detroit. But for all that's been made about Cincinnati's offense, they're averaging the 11th most yards per game. The red zone has been the issue for them. But
left a lot of points.
See a lot of Mike
there.
Nugent next week.
Yeah.
You look at Dallas.
So right in your wheelhouse. You love the kicking game.
Their red zone defense, Dallas's red zone defense, is actually worse than Miami, Pittsburgh, and New York, the Jets of New York. 3 teams that Cincinnati's played this year. The one quote-unquote bad red zone defense that Cincinnati's played this year, Denver. They're like giving up touchdowns at 70%. That's because they don't let anybody into the
That's all nice. The Bengals will have maybe 3 drives in the entire game because the ball's constantly going to be in Dallas's hands.
Also, Cincinnati gets after against the run. They allow 3.8 yards per carry. That's in the top third of the league. 97.5 rushing yards per game. I think the secret is to stopping the running game. Maybe they won't, but I like my chances. I'll take that. And it's basically a pick 'em. I like Cincinnati a little bit better here.
All right.
And
we got to move on.
Sunday night, New York Giants at Green Bay as we head into our stand-up triple for the 3-bagger, if you will. The Packers are, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think this has changed. 7-point favorites. They opened as 7-point favorites.
Still 7 points.
New York, the Giants lost Monday night pretty convincingly, despite only being a 14-point game. It was a pretty lopsided 14-point game. They lost 24-10 at Minnesota. It doesn't get any easier this week going to Green Bay. It's a tough little schedule, Minnesota to Green Bay.
Mike, why don't you go first so we don't steal your reasons?
Okay, yeah, I'll go first. Sure. I like that the Packers looked competent last time out, which is a nice change of pace for the Packers. The offense looked really good, especially in the first half. I think they kind of took the foot off the gas pedal in the second half. Didn't like that. But Aaron Rodgers throwing for 4 touchdown passes in the first half was pretty impressive. Again, New York, you don't know how healthy they're going to be, especially in the secondary. They had a couple key members of their secondary out Monday night, and I don't think Sam Bradford did enough to exploit that because he's Sam Bradford at the end of the day. I think Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Nelson probably take advantage of that. What else is there? Packers 9-1 against the spread in a bye week coming off the bye week under Mike McCarthy, which is shocking to me, which I think says more about Vegas than it does about Mike McCarthy and the Packers. And the Packers offense or defense, a lot's been made about that. They give up a ton of yards. I think they're 30th in the league. Well, 203 of those passing yards that they've allowed came in the second half last week when that game was out of reach. Garbage time. They also were playing without Clay Matthews, Morgan Burnett, Dayton Jones, and Letroy Guion. All 4 returned to practice this week. Morgan Burnett's a big one in the secondary. They're not going to be. They probably won't have Sam Shields, who hasn't returned to practice yet. But I don't know. There's going to be a lot of points put up, but I think Packers pull away late.
Yeah, I like the Packers too. Obviously for the reasons that you mentioned, but mostly I just look at the Giants, and I feel like they're on the verge of going off the tracks a little bit.
Yeah,
I like you you just have a sense that everything with Odell Beckham Jr. and that whole situation. It just seems like a team that could fall apart, just really disintegrate really quickly. And I'm also, they don't have much of a rushing attack, and I think that's where...
You're not a big fan of Orleans Darkwa?
No, you brought that up earlier. It seemed like they weren't on the same page, and then there were a couple plays where Eli Manning essentially had to throw it into the ground because, they were trying to set up for a screen and it wasn't there. So, I don't know. I look at that. It's in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, the big stage of prime time, he usually thrives in that situation. I don't know. I like the Packers. I just see the Giants. This seems like a little stretch where they're losing their cool a little bit.
The Packers, they
rush defense.
They were on a bye last week, so the number is a little skewed. Through 3 games, they've allowed 128 yards on the ground.
Yeah, 1.8 yards per attempt.
It's insane. How many times did the Giants run the ball on Monday night? I mean, the play calling is kind of weird. I don't know. Andre?
Yeah, I hat trick here. I'm going to go with the Packers as well. As you mentioned, their rush defense is so strong.
We
can do that next week.
That's week 6 material. Spoiler alert.
Hey. All right. How do you beat Aaron Rodgers?
Hit him in the mouth.
Yeah. Giants have 4 sacks this year, worst in the league.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Rodgers is going to have a field
if
day.
you give him any time, you're
He's
done.
going to kill you.
Because especially as Jordy Nelson gets healthier, he's not going to be, he can get behind the defense, he can break off his routes and get open. So.
Yep. And I like that. And the Giants also have the 3rd worst turnover differential, -8.
Ball security.
Was that? Yeah, ball security. I like the Giants coming into the season to win the NFC East, but their secondary's been banged up, and it seems like it's taking a while for them to adjust to their new coach. And again, every time we count out the Giants, they come out and win.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Because this has Odell Beckham 250 yards written all over it.
Well, that would be my one concern.
The Packers have 10 days to game plan. Like if they lose this game because the Giants throw for 500 yards, somebody should lose a job because it's like that's the only thing the Giants can do.
That's essentially what you're game planning to stop that.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the weapons, obviously. The best. You could argue it's the best. One of the best trios of wide receivers in the league, but I don't know.
The game plan should rival.
If you can hone in on that.
Remember what the Patriots did on Sunday night a few years ago against Denver, where Denver came in and ran for 250 yards, and the Patriots still won that game. Same idea. Let them run if they want. So, all right, let's get into locks and upsets.
Okay.
You want to start with locks or upsets?
Let's go to the lock.
All right, locks. Let's start with Ricky.
I like the Eagles, 1-point favorites over the Lions.
Wow. That line seems low.
Low?
Yeah, I like that lock. It's a good lock.
Yeah, the Lions. First and foremost, they're the Lions, and I think I said week 1 there's going to be a lot of opportunities this year for me to pick them against them as my lock. They don't really have much of a rushing attack ever since Amir Abdullah went down. Yep. I think Theo Riddick's more of a good, he's a nice little change of pace guy you bring in 3rd down, catching passes out of the backfield. But if you rely on him to be your workhorse, not exactly thrilled about that situation. Eagles coming off a bye.
They like Dwayne Washington too, and he's dealing
with a
I just smell this weird letdown for the Eagles.
It's coming at some point.
They're not going to be 4-0. Wentz has to throw a pick. They're going to have a letdown. But I don't know.
I agree.
See it against Detroit. Yeah.
Anyway, my lock of the week, I like the Pittsburgh Steelers against New York Jets. New York Jets defense has been absolute trash this year. First of all, they only have... What is it?
Well, you talk about getting after the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, how do you beat Big Ben? You hit him in the mouth. I mentioned that last week. They only have 10 hurries this year, the Jets.
They only have what?
10 hurries.
That's insane.
That's really low.
You look at we fall into this trap of every week, just going off of old assumptions. Last week, we all fell into that trap. Did we all take the Jets last week?
I took this.
That's a good pick by you, but
no, I took the Jets.
Yeah,
Wait.
I think we all took the Jets.
Yeah, I'll take the Jets.
Because the Jets are going to get after the. No, they didn't. And Russell Wilson.
They didn't. No, and they have 10 hurries, and that's 30th in the league. And also, the Jets have allowed the most explosive plays. An explosive play means a catch that's either 20 yards or longer, or a rushing play that's 10 yards or longer. And they've allowed 25 of those this season. That's not good news when you're going up against Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Ben Roethlisberger. So Steelers, I think they're going to have a repeat performance from last week and just destroy the Jets.
Yeah, might have gotten a little carried away with the Steelers last week. I think the Chiefs thought the Chiefs actually give them a game, but little bit of readjustment there, kind of finding their way. Pittsburgh looked good again. Back to being a Super Bowl contender.
Black and yellow.
I like the Vikings. I don't know what I'm missing here. The Vikings are 6-point favorites. I feel like that's up to 7.5 by kickoff. I love it at 6. 7, I'd be a little bit more weary because you never know what you're going to get out of Minnesota's offense, but that defense is legitimate, especially at home. The Vikings 4-0 against the spread in their last four games as favorite, 22-8 against the spread in their last 30 at home, 4-0 against the spread as a home favorite of 3.5 to 10 points, and 8-0 against the spread versus their last 8 home games against teams with winning records. Again, that defense is so good. Mike Zimmer really, he's coach of the year right now, especially after Belichick and the Patriots got smacked last week. I just look at that up and down. It seems like a bad matchup for Houston, who's kind of struggled at times this year. Brock Osweiler probably isn't very good. You put him in Minnesota, it's going to be tough. The Texans average just 10.8 points per game in the first half. Minnesota's allowed just 10 points total, 2 home games in the first half. Minnesota also turns it on in the second half, second points per second half. They wear you down.
Yeah, then I hammer the under on that one too.
Yeah. Also, weird stat: Texans 3-10-1 against the spread in their last 14 on field turf. So
wow.
I don't know what that means, but it's tough to argue.
Yeah.
All right, upsets. Andre, kick us off.
Okay, you guys are gonna call me crazy on this one, but I like the Cleveland Browns to not cover, but to win. They'll cover if they win as well. They're going to beat the New England Patriots this week at home against Cleveland. The last 2 matchups between the Browns and Patriots, Browns beat them in 2010, and they lost to them by 1 point in 2013. They had a 13-point lead heading into the last minute of the game. Tom Brady threw 2 touchdowns. The Patriots beat the Browns. Cody Kessler, as I predicted 2 weeks ago, the guy hasn't been a train wreck. He's 67% completion percentage, only 1 pick. He's playing well. That rushing attack, best in the league still, 5.7 yards per rush attempt. The Patriots' defense has been trash this year. What is this? Everybody's talking about, Patriots' defense.
That's
yeah.
Well,
the Dante Hightower injury, I think, is a huge factor.
What did he do last week?
I'm just saying. No, I'm on your side on this. I think, especially against the run, there's a vulnerability there. That being said,
listen. What are the ingredients of a big upset like this? Big plays and time of possession. Browns have that running attack. They can control the ball. And they have the big threats against the defense that's been a little shaky to pull it off. And I love Terrell Pryor. He's turning into my favorite player.
Going to the dog pound.
Oh yeah. And Tom Brady's gonna be rusty. The guy hasn't even been with his team for a month.
Yeah,
why does everyone think he's gonna come in and be a king?
He doesn't rust.
He's gonna struggle in that first couple of quarters. He's gonna struggle.
When this gets up to 14, I'll start to screw around
with it. But you should go and bet on them to win.
See, I'm not touching. No, that just seems crazy. No.
Also, explosive plays. We talked about that in the last Steelers thing. Browns lead the league in explosive plays with 31. Yeah. They're an explosive offensive team.
Against Miami and Washington.
The Patriots defense. What are they going to do?
I'm just saying. What are they going to do? I think they're a little bit better than Miami and Washington.
I have a feeling, Patriots fans here in Boston, they're going to be tuning to that Red Sox game pretty early. Oh. Yeah, because it's going to be an ugly game.
We'll see.
Interesting.
Ricky.
I like the Chargers over the Raiders, and this is coming from somebody who really liked the Raiders at the beginning of the season. But the defenses look better the last couple weeks, but I'm tempering my expectations a little bit because that turnaround's coming against the Titans, whose offense is garbage, and the Ravens, who I'm not buying into at all. So I just think the Chargers are going to be able to move the football against them, over 30 points a game. Pretty good offense despite the injuries they've suffered. I could see Phillip Rivers throwing for 400 yards. This is going to turn into a shootout. It seems like a little West Coast shootout action. Chargers not dealing with the whole, not have to travel from west to east, which seems to be problematic for them. They're sticking in the home state. So I could see the Chargers giving them a run.
You're going against your MVP pick, who might be the league's MVP right now, Derek Carr.
Played really well the other day.
He's good.
Fire. He looks
really
good.
Well. Look at that big boy.
But I was expecting a lot of points, and I can see the Chargers pulling off in the end. Although they have their issues closing out games too, so I guess I'm not in love with that pick, but it is what it is.
What's your upset?
Mike McCoy is going to be out of job soon.
Oh, yeah.
They keep blowing late leads like that. My upset, I like the Titans over the Dolphins. Titans 3.5 point underdogs. Game's in Miami. Not crazy about that again. Let's talk about the Dolphins' injuries. 16 guys on the injury report last week. Too early to tell. Mike Pouncey did return to practice, but who knows? It's a volatile position. I also like the matchup. Tennessee hasn't done a lot well this year. You just mentioned they're trash on offense, and they are by and large. But they run the ball pretty well.
DeMarco.
I wish I meant to write down the numbers. This is more about having to do with the Dolphins. They've allowed the 4th most rushing yards. They've tied for the most rushing touchdowns allowed. And you talked about possession earlier. Time of possession. Miami dead last time of possession. Tennessee's 9th. Wow. So I think that if the Titans can hold on to the ball, not turn it over, really just eat up a lot of clock. It keeps this game close. And I don't like Ryan Tannehill late in the game. Miami's also second and third down defense in all of the NFL, despite the fact that they're last in possession. How does that work? What does that tell you? They suck on 1st and 2nd down, running downs. The Titans going to give the ball to DeMarco Murray and just let him run wild. I think they actually win this game, but I at least like them to keep it close.
I think for the 2nd straight week, you've convinced me to change my pick. I had the Dolphins to win this, and you made some very good points. I'm going with the Titans.
I make a lot of good points for somebody who sucks.
Easily persuaded.
I don't think I was easily persuaded. He gave a lot of good points. That time of possession stat, that was...
not easily, because it was very good. Good points. But you're persuaded.
Salient points.
You're persuaded.
Yeah, I have an open mind. Unlike you guys. Patriots are going to win because Tom Brady's coming back. It's the only reason you got is Tom Brady's coming back?
No, I'm not getting into this. Read it on NESN.com.
Okay, I will. Parlays and props.
Yep.
And bets.
You want to go first?
Yeah,
you
sure.
seem really excited.
I mean, they just won't.
Good, because I'm looking at mine now, and it's not exciting because I've already talked about basically everything.
Yeah, I've talked about basically all these too. I like the there's a teaser. 6-point teaser. So that means the Broncos even against the Falcons. The Steelers -1 against the Jets. Cowboys give me 7.5 points against a very bad Bengals team. The Cardinals are playing the 49ers on Thursday night. I think they're going to bounce back this week. They'll give me 3 points for that. And you don't think they're going to beat the 49ers?
I don't know.
Anyway, and I like the over on the Bears-Colts game. I don't know what it is, but there's going to be a lot of points in that game. Yeah. Especially now that Brian Hoyer might be getting that start Sunday again, so I like it.
The Colts suck.
They can score, though.
They're so bad. Ricky, do you want to do yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do mine. I always incorporate the lock, so that's the Eagles over the Lions. I'm also liking the over 46 in that game. That's another one where I didn't really even have to look at the number. I just figured there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game. I like the Chargers and Raiders over 50. I mentioned that already. Talked at length about those two garbage defenses, two good offenses. And then we already talked about the Titans and the Dolphins. I like the under 43.5 right there because, the Titans offense is garbage. And I don't even think it's a talent issue there.
You were just not listening to his points about the Titans? They can run the ball.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
You call them garbage, though.
They are.
I was just saying, I don't think it's really a talent issue. I think it's more utilization of that talent.
Okay.
Coaching stinks.
Yeah.
Mike Mularkey.
I feel like they're really pigeonholing the weapons that they do have.
But I also think even if you think that was a good pick, I look the under too. I think the way that Tennessee wins that game is
controlling the clock and
keep a low score.
So we're on the same page there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't try to drive a wedge here. Jeez, trying to do harmony.
Michael.
Quick prop bet. This is a straight prop. Neither Carolina nor Arizona will make the playoffs. Plus 190. I can get it right now. I look at Carolina. That secondary, I think maybe they get it together at some point. I think we all kind of underestimated, or at least I did, the impact of losing Josh Norman. Again, we talked about how bad those defenses have been in the NFC South. I don't know if they're going to be able to turn it around, especially if Cam Newton's banged up. Head injury is nothing to screw around with. I feel like he's probably had a concussion since week 1. It just hasn't played well. They just don't seem right.
I mean, Derek Anderson played better.
And Arizona can't beat the freaking Rams at home. And, now they've got issues at the quarterback position as well. I mean, they had issues to begin with. Carson Palmer's played like a hot pile of garbage. And, now that he's hurt as well, there's some issues for both of those teams. So I like plus 190. That's a good value. So
both of them not making the playoffs.
Neither can make the playoffs. Correct.
It's only plus 190.
Yeah, I know.
It's not very valuable. That's crazy.
All right, show and tell.
Ricky, show and tell.
Let's get a start.
Ricky,
all right, I had a few things here. because I do the show and tell segment for the other football
Hurry
show,
Up, yeah.
the Hurry Up. So you can check that out. But I'm gonna go with Kirk Cameron, a photo of Kirk Cameron from Growing Pains. Mike Seaver here, because, and this goes back to what we were talking about with the Titans. Marcus Mariota's guy is going through some growing pains. Also, Jameis Winston for the Tampa Bay Bucks, some growing pains there. I'd like to see more of these guys in their sophomore season. Instead, they're being overshadowed by some rookie quarterbacks with less experience. I'm just not overly impressed with what I've seen from the first 2 picks in the 2015 NFL Draft. It showed potential last year. Winston especially. I'm shocked. Going into this season, I really thought that he would take a step forward.
Tough opponents.
And even the Bucks have acknowledged that they're concerned about the way he's playing. So, I don't know. I need to see more from them. So right now,
all right,
growing pains. Gotta push through them.
All right. So last night, I wanted to make some dinner for myself.
You're actually cooking for yourself.
Yeah. So I got a bagel.
What the hell is that?
It used to be
horrible.
It used to be.
That's a bagel.
It's a bagel.
I thought it was a burger.
No, it's a bagel.
It looks like a horrible tasting veggie burger.
So I put the bagel.
You broke in half though. What, did you use a chainsaw?
No. No. So I put it in the oven and I forgot about it, and this is what happened to it. It's char.
If you hit somebody in the head with that, that'd be an assault with a deadly weapon.
So this is basically the Indianapolis Colts situation in the Grigson era, because they're just making poor decisions.
This is so bad, yeah.
I did last time. Made a poor decision, and I waited too long. What are the Colts waiting for? Why haven't they drafted an offensive lineman? And they did last year, but I mean he's still a rookie, Ryan Kelly. Why haven't they built a team around Andrew Luck? They're wasting his young years. And I wanted to bring a body back too, but for Andrew Luck, because he's going to be in one pretty soon. The guy's running for his life every game. He's been sacked 15 times, more than any other quarterback in the league, and.
So that's that.
This is the Colts right now, guys. This is the Colts season.
Come on.
Andrew Luck is going to turn into a charcoal bagel.
Good presence of mind to keep the bagel. Yeah, that's
lucky you didn't have a fire on your hands, by the way.
Concerned for his long-term health, mentally, physically, and emotionally.
Yes,
Andrew Luck, poor guy. All right. Hold on a second. That can actually go.
Smells funny too.
That can go in here when it's all said and done.
It seems to be you need to take out that trash too.
Here we go. My show and tell is just trash. If you turn on the NFL during prime time this season, you'd probably more likely rather watch this than any of the games. The primetime games this season have been, in a word, garbage. Trash. They're 2 words. Whatever.
Rubbish.
By my calculation, very unscientific, very objective. My observations, 3 out of 13 games have been worth a darn this year. It stinks. It's horrible to watch. It's not a good product yet. We do it every freaking week. We do it to ourselves. Again this week, the Thursday night games sucked. The Sunday night games sucked. The Monday night games sucked.
Monday night game was pretty decent.
We're looking forward to Thursday night this week, and we've got friggin'
Cardinals and
Drew Stanton going up against Blaine Gabbert and the Cardinals.
Hey, it's football. In May, you're going to be like, oh, I wish there was a Thursday night
game. This kind of falls into it. The NFL viewing experience is also terrible. I want to make a point that this happened, and this should not ever happen. I was watching the Sunday game, or the morning game. This is my fault. I should not be watching football London games when it's the Colts and Jaguars. They come back from commercial with 3 seconds left in a quarter. So we're going to run one play, take a timeout, and come back. And heaven forbid it was a touchdown mixed in. Then it would have been a kickoff and a commercial. It's just a terrible viewing product. Hopefully the ratings continue to fall. They got a tough stretch coming up with baseball. Baseball, you look at the 7 of the top 20 major TV markets are in the playoffs this year. Could be a rude awakening. You got a debate on Sunday night as well, going up against Packers, Giants. The product is not good right now, especially in primetime games.
It's not as bad as this bagel, though.
No, I would rather
I can smell it.
Which, by the way,
it smells like
this bagel
charcoal.
And the Colts.
It's not like somebody's grilling it.
The only Pro Bowler they've drafted since in the Grigson era is Luck and Hilton. Nothing else. They're a garbage team.
The best thing Grigson ever did for the Colts was tattle on the Patriots.
Yep.
All right, so that's pretty much it, right? We don't have anything else.
No, I think we can get out of here.
Check out the Hurry Up on Nesson's YouTube page. That's our weekly football show. Check out the Nesson.com/odds for the picks. We should probably go back and edit the fact that I haven't mentioned that all of our lines come from OddsShark, our friends at OddsShark. Anything else?
You can see the cheese.
I know. I was actually just looking at it. Actually, if you flip it over to the other side, that cheese actually looks like it's caramel or something. It's like, oh, that looks pretty good. But no, it's not good. I'm Mike Cole. That's Ricky Doyle, Andre Khatchaturian.
Kirk Cameron.
Until next time. Oh, man, that's fine.
Santa Lucia.